And this weekend, make sure you get back in the garden with Danny McEwen. Saturday morning starting at 8 o'clock here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, we lost yesterday, or April 3rd, actually. Staff Sergeant Christopher L. Brown, 26, Columbus, Ohio. Corporal Christopher D. Bordani, 21, Ithaca, New York. And then all three of these gentlemen were assigned the 1st Battalion, 148th Infantry Regiment, 37th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, Ohio National Guard out of Walbridge, Ohio. Captain Nicholas J. Rozanski, 36, Dublin, Ohio. I guarantee you all these guys had kids, wives. Sergeant First Class Jeffrey J. Reich, 45, of Columbus, Ohio. Sergeant First Class Sean T. Hannon, 44, of Grove City, Ohio. The three soldiers died April 4th in Farab Province, Afghanistan, of wounds sustained during an enemy attack by a suicide vehicle, improvised explosive device. God bless them. The American military deaths in Afghanistan this year are up 65. The total since 2001 is 1,929. Military deaths in Iraq is 1 this year. Total since 2003, 4,486. Which means that we have lost just over 6,000 men and women. In honor of all those lost on this Good Friday, we want to thank the Marines, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, and all those who fight to protect the United States of America, which is still, despite some people's efforts to change it otherwise, the greatest country in this world. And I believe that there was no better demonstration of how great our country was than yesterday. Let me see. Yesterday, and I guess we're in the 33rd to 38th, something like that, biggest city in the country. You saw a complete community, not just Cincinnati, but the entire region come together, sell out the national pastime, which is baseball, sell out the stadium, largest crowd in the history of the stadium in an opening day. I think it was like 48,000 people. Man, they just let them all come in there and stand, which was cool. And it starts out with this wonderful community event called a parade, which is symbolic so much of American community, whether it's the 4th of July, Memorial Day, opening day, this beautiful thing called a parade where you have participants in the parade, which I was honored to be part of the Real Talk 1160 team. You have the participants in the parade, and you have 100,000 people in the community to come out and watch the parade. And you want diversity? You start out at Findlay, and you drive down the main thoroughfare there before you get to Fountain Square, and this parade covers the complete diversity of this community, from the inner city community, the African American community, then the suburbanites come out down on Fountain Square. I mean, it's an incredible. And guess what? Regardless of your socioeconomic status, everybody in the tri-state that comes out for the parade, enjoys the baseball game where the Reds won, and God blessed us with this beautiful weather. I mean, it was sunny. I got sunburn on my face even though I had a hat and sunglasses on. But you know what? Is it not just absolutely symbolic yesterday of what a great country we have, the freedom that we have, the communities that we have, the economic vitality of it all? I mean, just think what happened yesterday for capitalism. Just think what happened yesterday for capitalism. You had the Reds, the engine, all the people that they employ. You have the businesses, the bars, the shops, the sports bars down on the banks, over at the levee, all across the tri-state. Then you had people, let's face it, Americans all have a little outlaw in them. It was founded by rebels. All Americans have this little bit of outlaw in them. It's what I love. I got more than my share. But you know what? People calling in sick for opening day, people staying home, and everybody kind of just says, well, what the hell, it's opening day.
Now, here's one
is it not beautiful, TC? Is this not beautiful?
And this is the one time when it's okay when you call in sick, your boss says, whatever.
Exactly.
This time it's okay.
But I got goosebumps just telling this story. I mean, It's what makes America great.
You know, you're right. And the thing is, especially on opening day, because like yesterday when we were down on Fountain Square at Graders, you could start to see more and more people with red T-shirts, red hats, red jackets, that kind of thing. And people walk by and strike up a conversation just because you're wearing a Reds T-shirt. Because we're
community.
A fan, you're a fan, I'm a fan. Hey, how you doing?
Community.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
A common bond. Cincinnati Reds bringing everybody together.
Yeah.
And and that goes on, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, across the country, not just in our city, in all the cities that had a baseball game yesterday.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what, folks? These men are over there dying, fighting and dying, terrorists, so they don't come over here to blow up our baseball stadiums. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The whole game plan of George Bush, who started this, was to fight them over there so they don't come over here. Now, I disagree with the wars. I really do. I mean, there was better ways, in my opinion, to handle it. But you know what? That has nothing to do with our soldiers. Our soldiers who fight and die every day for us. All right, I got a great joke. All
right.
The Bridge, it's called. A man on his Harley was riding along a California beach when suddenly the sky clouded above his head, and a booming voice, God said, because you have tried to be faithful in me in all ways, I will grant you one wish. The biker pulled over and said, man, God, build a bridge to Hawaii so I can ride over anytime I want. God replied, your request is materialistic. Think of the enormous challenges for that kind of undertaking, the supports required reaching the bottom of this Pacific, and the concrete and steel it would take. I can do it because I'm God, but it's hard for me to justify your desire for worldly things. Take a little more time and think of something that could possibly help mankind. The biker thought for a minute, and he said, all right. God, I wish that I and all men could understand women. I want to know how she feels inside, what she's thinking when she gives me the silent treatment, why she cries, what she means when she says nothing's wrong, why she snaps and complains when I try to help, and how I can make a woman truly happy. God responded, you want 2 lanes or 4 on that bridge?
I'll take the bridge.
In pop culture, we got lots going on in pop culture, folks.
Oh, yeah.
American Reunion, the American Pie Gang is back. Opens today. Let's everybody go see that movie and support capitalism. On cable television this Sunday and Friday, tonight, Magic City premieres on Stars. It's about Miami. Borges, back in the 50s, late 60s. Borges returns Sunday at 10 p.m. on Showtime. NBC is signed a long-term deal with Matt Lauer. When we return, we'll finish up pop culture. Beautiful song on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Every American has a little outlaw in them. And ladies, you love outlaws like children love stray dogs. It's like Waylon Jennings said, ladies love outlaws like babies love stray dogs. Having a good, who's on the line?
That's Smokey and Rick.
Smokey and Rick.
Yeah.
We almost forgot about Smokey and
All the
Rick.
excitement this week, yeah.
Smokey and Rick, did you go to opening day or the opening day parade?
Hey, man, how are you? We're just getting back from Cancun. Rick, I was the best man. Rick getting his vows renewed.
Did you see any drug murders down there?
Yeah, you're breaking up. What'd you say?
Did you see any drug-related murders while you were in Cancun?
We didn't see much of anything. I'm telling you what, it was a whole lot of tequila, but it was heart-wrenching watching Rick up there and giving his vows, and I mean, it was just wonderful.
Why did he feel the need to renew his vows? Did he stray or something?
Well, that's a whole other story. I don't know if he wants me to really talk about that much.
Well, what do you guys got going on this beautiful spring Easter weekend at Ace Hardware, including will there be an Easter egg hunt at all local Ace Hardwares?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of activities, especially, after we got thumped last week. Well, I'm going to be at Independence getting me some Kentucky gear. I switched from being a Hoosier. I'm straight up Kentucky. You won that bet.
Thank you. By the way, I forgot what we bet. I made a lot of bets. I forget who I bet what. What do you got?
Well, we're going to be on your show some Friday and try to boost your ratings. So you pick a Friday, and we'll be there and help out.
You come in. All right, I'll pick next Friday.
Okay, let me check with Rick. He's drunk in the back of the limo. We're coming back from the airport, and we'll get back with you on that, buddy. But everybody, get in your local Ace Hardware, and we've got everything you're going to need for Easter. We've got your charcoal if you're cooking out. We've got everything you're going to need.
All right. We got a bad connection, so we're going to let you go early. Your show tomorrow is going to be from 10 to 11 right here on Real Talk 1160. What's the topic?
Well, we've got all kinds of cool stuff going on. You never know what's going to happen on there, but we got some redneck tips, and we're going to teach you how to make your own ketchup.
All right, I like that. How to make your own ketchup.
See you guys, thanks.
All right, thank you. Man, can you imagine those two dudes in Cancun?
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
There's probably no alcohol left.
Well, first, Kiss is on the Country Music Awards. Now Gene Simmons is endorsing Mitt Romney. He's a versatile guy.
Really?
And Kanye West admits now in a song that he fell in love with Kim Kardashian.
Aww.
Isn't that sweet?
He fell in love with Kim Kardashian. Yeah, he fell in love with that money.
They're going to produce a movie on Hank Aaron's life. You know what I say about that? What's taking them so long?
Yeah, really.
Remember I talk about these true stories that would make great movies?
Yeah.
Hank Aaron's story? Are you kidding me?
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Hammer and Hank. Okay, and local news. The Wilmington drug bust. A man from Mexico is facing felony drug charges after the Ohio State Highway Patrol troopers found not 1 pound, not 2 pound, 538 pounds of marijuana worth $2.1 million in the back of a van. I wonder what it feels like, or what it felt like when David Gutierrez, 25 of Mexico, gets pulled over and he knows he has 538 pounds of marijuana in his van.
I'm not going to make it opening day.
Yeah.
You're right. That's got to stink.
I mean, you're like, holy cow.
You're sweating bullets.
Do you run? Do you say, well, maybe they won't ask me to open up my, and you just paint that picture. A van. I got this vision of what this van looked like. A Mexican driving.
Now wait a minute now.
That van is going to be searched. I'm just telling you. That man is going to get searched, is what I'm trying to say.
He's going to get
If it was an African-American, it would be searched.
Yeah.
If it was a heroin-looking white guy, it's going to be searched. I mean, let's face it. If I'm a cop, there's certain people I'm looking, I'm going to search this van. If it was like some goofy, I don't know, guy taking his kids to Disneyland, he's probably not going to get searched.
Right. Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Somebody have to tell you the story about my racial profiling incident.
Because let me tell you something. White trash gets racially profiled as much as a black man or an Hispanic man. I mean, come on, man. If I'm a cop, some of these dudes, man, I'm like, this guy looks like a drug trafficker. All right. Okay, let's get to sports, shall we?
Yes, let's do some sports.
First of all, we have to cover the big game yesterday. 42,956. Cueto, only 3 hits, 7 innings of shutout baseball. Marshall comes in and shuts him down. I mean, it was an incredible game. And Jay Bruce.
Yeah, baby.
Jay Bruce, you have your own theme song on Real Talk 1160.
Homer on opening day,
Goes
you got it.
deep, and he had a sacrifice fly.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like everything was good for the Reds yesterday.
It was. And a shutout on opening day.
Everything was good for the Reds yesterday as they beat Miami 4-0. By the way, Bob Castellini predicts there's going to be an all-star game for Cincinnati.
Really?
In the near future.
Nice.
Also in baseball, the Mets won, the Braves 0. The Phillies won. 3 shutouts.
That's odd.
Crazy. Problems in Orlando. Stan Van Gundy says Dwight Howard demanded he be fired. With all due respect to Stan Van Gundy, he ought to be fired. I never did like the guy. NFL commissioner heard the Saints appeal. Ex-Bengal Jerome Sentence was sentenced to 15 days in jail on Thursday. He was sentenced for having 2.5 pounds of marijuana shipped to his home in September. He also has to pay a $7,500 fine, 200 hours of community service, and donate $5,000 to charity. Marvin Lewis says there's a possible they're going to re-sign. The Bengals are going to re-sign Jerome Simpson.
Yeah.
They need receivers. He did a good job. And you know what? They must really think, the prosecutor must really think, Jerome Simpson is taking a bullet for somebody, because if you get shipped 2.5 pounds of marijuana to your house and you're only going to do 15 days in jail,
or he's got a really good attorney,
or he is cooperating.
Yeah.
There is more to this picture than meets the eye.
Now what are the whoever he's covering for? Are they saying, that's kind of a light sentence? What did Jerome have to give up in order to get that light sentence? That could be dangerous for him.
Yeah, they're like, University
He's gonna sing like a bird.
University of Connecticut is out. They have to sit out the 2013 tournament because of some NCAA violations. I say good because they beat Kentucky a couple years ago, and I'm still mad about it. Former Saints defensive coordinator caught offering money for injuries. Greg Williams was caught on tape offering payments for players who could hit 49ers Alex Smith in the head. Now, with all due respect, I'll bet you this goes on a lot.
I'm sure it does.
But you can't say it like that. You can say, come on, hit him hard, knock him out of the game. You don't say, hit him in the head.
Well, they got caught. That's the problem. First, they got caught, and they got caught right when everyone's talking. Who was the one guy who just committed suicide, and he left a note and said, have him check
Dave Dearson.
Yeah, okay.
Dave Dearson.
You've got all the stuff with the head injuries and the concussions and that, and then you hear this story. It's like, oh, man, bad timing.
That's right. Obama weighs in on Augusta. President Barack Obama picks sides in the ongoing discussion over whether women should be allowed. His personal opinion is women should be admitted. Obviously, it's up to the club to decide. He'll do anything to get a woman's vote. The private Georgia Golf Club, which hosts the Masters, started Thursday, has not allowed women members since it opened in 19. Is there anything sacred? Can't there be a club out there just for guys? Aren't there clubs just for girls?
There are. Now, what is the actual rule? It's not a place of employment, but it's a club. It's a social club.
Hey, a private social club, you can discriminate.
Okay.
You're allowed to do that. But I just don't understand the big deal. It's like everybody's got to be equal. I mean, there's women's clubs. You know what? I don't want to join them.
Right.
And if there's a guy that wants to join them, one hole away from ending the day as a clubhouse leader, Henrik Stenson stumbled on hole 18. Stenson ended the day with a quadruple bogey 8 on the par 4 18th. But he still finished first under 71. But you know what? Tiger Woods will still probably come back and win because he always does.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, I think he's got a good chance. By the way, on Good Friday, the Reds are not playing, so there will not be any fish hot dogs. That was a big concern of mine, how disgusting a fish hot dog would be.
Oh, yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, as we conclude sports and pop culture, and we'll get into some more serious stuff when we come back, I just hope everybody has a wonderful, happy Easter. I hope they have a spiritual Easter, if that's your thing. I hope you go into church on Good Thursday, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed Easter. And for all of you that do the secular thing as well as the spiritual thing, I hope the Easter egg hunts have good weather. I hope the Easter baskets are filled with good candy. Let me tell you what I did for my kids. This is how much I love my kids, TC.
How much do you love your kids?
I went and I bought black jelly beans, orange jelly beans, and cherry jelly beans, so they didn't have to throw away the white ones, the yellow ones, the green ones, and the purple ones. That's a problem with me, you know. Right. Why do they even have those kind of jelly beans?
I like them. I like just jelly beans in general.
My God. We come back. More Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, Real Talk 1160 is on Facebook. You can keep tabs of your favorite talk show hosts and listen to live streaming. Just join us at facebook.com/Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I'm telling you right now, we're watching Fox News here in the studio while TC watches Robin Meade and CNN in his studio. And Rick Warren, that preacher, and his wife have written a book. Oh, my God. I can't believe this stuff, TC. They've written a book about Warren and Winnie's personality analysis. And what they do is they take Tigger, Winnie the Pooh, Rabbit, and Eeyore and use them as examples of different personalities and analyze them.
Oh, the deer.
Oh, my God.
And they're this is a
Tigger,
book.
Tigger.
Now what kind of personality is Tigger?
Rambunctious.
Rambunctious,
But,
yeah.
but apparently that could mask some things.
Is he an alpha cat?
He's an alpha cat. And then, of course, we all know Rabbit and Eeyore were downers.
Yeah.
Rabbit was that worry. Wasn't Rabbit the worrier?
Yeah, Rabbit was very, very
Nervous.
particular. Oh,
Yeah, nervous.
Don't touch that. Yeah, right.
And Eeyore was, I don't know. I'm a downer. I need some antidepressant medicine.
My tail is pinned on my butt.
do you have any antidepressant medicine?
I was actually in a good mood on those days, I thought,
Let's have a little bit of general news here. This is interesting. Tyler Perry was pulled over by the Atlanta police for making a left turn from a far right lane. And to make sure he wasn't being followed, he says, he claims that that's the way his security detail, you go from the far right lane, but you know what? If you do that, the cops are going to say, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, it's kind of illegal.
And you know what? I have to admit, I know Tyler Perry. If he had his glasses on, I'd recognize him because he's been on a lot of stuff lately. But I could see why people wouldn't recognize him. Apparently, the two white cops that got there first didn't recognize him. And then the black cop showed up and recognized him and said, uh-oh. And they let the guy go, but he's making a big stink about it. And I'm kind of like, man, they let you go. Chill out.
He's complaining about it?
Yeah, like he thinks he was racially profiled. And I'm thinking, racially profiled, you go from the right lane to the far left lane.
No.
And by the way, I am a traffic rule violator. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, if a cop saw me go from the far right lane over the left-hand lane, I wouldn't think they're picking on the Bulldog. I would think they're saying, who the heck is this nut?
Right, yeah. Yeah, who's this guy? Doesn't matter who's driving, just look what he did there.
Exactly.
Racial profiling is when you get picked up for being black on a sunny day.
This is a funny story or a sad story, depending on your perspective. The population of the least populous town in America, there was only one person that lived in there, to at least double Thursday when two mysterious businessmen from Vietnam won the tiny hamlet with a bid of $900,000. About a dozen bidders gathered around the town's one business to bid on Buford, Wyoming, which consists of a gas station, a 3-bedroom house, and a few small outbuildings on 10 acres. The bidding began at $100,000 and quickly escalated.
They actually bought the town?
They bought the town of 10 acres for $900,000. Who are these people? What are their plans for Buford? Would you buy a town for $900,000? Hell, I'd buy a town for $900,000 if I had it lying around.
Yeah, if I won that lottery.
Yeah, what the heck? This is kind of scary. An Australian pilot said he was forced to make a harrowing landing when out of the dashboard came a snake. Oh my God!
No.
CC, I hate snakes.
Wait a minute.
I hate snakes. If I was a pilot and a snake popped out of the dashboard, I would have a heart attack and die.
I'm
and
tired
the plane
of
would
these
crash.
Snakes on this plane.
The plane would crash. And legal.
Wait. Where did the snake just from
out
where?
of the dashboard? The dashboard has some cracks and crannies. Right out of the crack of one of the.
I wonder how the snake got in. And
Isn't it weird the way snakes and mice get in places that how the hell do they fit?
Right. And they always meant it just to scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah, the bad timing.
I wasn't expecting to see you there.
Keith Olbermann in legal news is suing the network for more than $50 million and blasting it for what he claims shoddy production values. His breach of lawsuit filed in Los Angeles seeks a judge's ruling, and he didn't disparage the network before his firing. He's suing Al Gore and Joel Hyatt, the former Hyatt Legal Services guy.
Oh,
who
really?
started Current TV. Yep.
Wow. And that's a lot of money there.
A lot of money. He was married to Howard Metzenbaum's daughter.
Really?
Yep. You can get rich if you're married to a United States Senator's daughter and get some of that green water money.
I suppose.
Speaking of green water, we have a wonderful contribution from the Godfather, Bob from Aurora. Make sure you tell the Easter Bunny to put the new green water rotten colored eggs drink or the Cottontail rabbit mix in all those Easter baskets. We make Peter Cottontail vomit down the bunny trail. You know what, TC? Let's hope we promote green water, but let's hope the Easter Bunny has some common courtesy and doesn't give green water to all the little boys and girls out there.
Yeah, they think it was.
It's not for kids.
No, it's not.
Green water's not for kids.
No, not for anyone over the age or under.
Also on legal news, Eric Holder delivered that 3-page single-space letter to the judge, basically saying the power of the courts to review the constitutionality of legislation is beyond dispute.
All right, well, that in Laverne and Shirley terms, he says, okay, you guys have every right to do what you're doing.
You know, I think it would be funny if Eric Holder would have said, we're not going to give you that letter.
To the Supreme Court, where now, we're going to hold you in contempt.
You're out of order. The whole world's out of order. You know what I'm saying?
Not at the Grandview Tavern. Everything's cool.
I have to give a report. This falls under some local news, I suppose. There was a candidates meeting down in LaGrange for the 4th Congressional District. Gary Moore was there. Mark Carey and Alicia Edgington were absent, but apparently there was a big shebang, and apparently Thomas Massey got the best of old Gary Moore in the debate. So it's going to be interesting. You know, Thomas Massey was the guy that had that commercial quoting Jeff Davis on the House floor, saying how wonderful he was. And Davis said, take that commercial down. He said, hey, sorry, man. You said it. It's public. Public, you know.
That's a good point. I can use that.
When we come back, we're going to discuss political news. And just to give you a little flavor of that, apparently Rick Santorum is taking 4 days off. And apparently they're using it as an excuse to meet with the conservatives to see how they can derail Romney's campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, if Rick Santorum keeps this up, he's going to be persona non grata with the Republican Party. And instead of helping himself by running and increasing his name recognition, it's going to boomerang on him a little bit. And you know what? If he's smart, because Romney is now up like 9 points in Pennsylvania. If I'm Rick Santorum, I am leaving the race before I get hammered in my hometown. Because let me tell you right now, this is a true story. Guess who won Georgia? Newt. As bad as the campaign is, Newt won Georgia. Guess who won his home state as New Hampshire? Romney. If you are Rick Santorum, do you really want to go out getting hammered in your home state? The Keystone State of Pennsylvania? No. If I'm a Rick Santorum lover, advisor, friend, compatriot, supporter, I'm saying, Rick, don't do this to yourself. Get out now so they can't hammer you that you got hammered in Pennsylvania.
Right.
I mean, that's not good, man.
He's killing himself.
I mean, the ego that takes over these guys, you know, it starts out, it's about somebody else and about this cause. And then somehow it morphs into all about them. For example, I love the Clint Eastwood line, a man has got to know his limitations.
Right.
You know, a man's got to know his limitations. And you know, sometimes it's a bitter pill to swallow for all of us.
Yeah, he tried. He gave it your best shot. It's not working out.
Exactly. And, you know, when you're getting hammered in these polls in Pennsylvania, it's time to get out. When we return, we'll have politics, the Bulldog on Real Talk. Radio Superbity, 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. You know, TC, we almost forgot in the legal news that story about the Marine.
Oh, yeah.
Who posted some criticism of Barack Obama on Facebook. And then subsequently, he's now filed a lawsuit under his First Amendment rights. But you know what? I have to admit, I support him. I think it's bad. It's so bad the Marines are criticizing. However, as bad as Obama is, as somebody who was in the military pointed out to me that, man, you can't have that in the military. The military is boom, 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 boom. And you start allowing that. You hate to admit that, but the military is a different ball game than the rest of us that live in the civil world.
Exactly. His job is to take orders.
Yeah.
To do what he's told to do. That is his primary job. And yeah, I agree with his right to freedom of speech. However,
you give that up when you join the military.
You and I wouldn't go on the radio and badmouth the radio station.
Let me give you an example. We are limited when you become a licensed lawyer. You give up some of your free speech of what you can say about a judge.
Okay.
For example, okay, if there's a judge, I'm allowed to say, I just think that judge is unfair, or, that judge is pretty harsh, or, you can state things like that. You can't say, that judge is a crook.
Right.
He takes bribes. You better be right, or else you're in trouble.
You better have some proof on that.
So you give up now, and if you're not a lawyer, you can say that.
Okay.
And the judge can't do anything to you. Heck, you're a citizen.
Well, you tell me which judges, and I'll be sure to nail them on the air for
I
you.
am unaware of any judges that take bribes.
Of course you are.
If I knew which ones they were, maybe I would bribe them. No, I'm just teasing.
These are all jokes.
South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley said Thursday that the leading Republican presidential candidate should use Ann Romney more. And by the way, apparently, Nikki Haley is on the short list to be vice president.
Oh, really?
A woman as the vice president. I still
Native
say
American?
Marco Rubio. What do you not understand about Marco Rubio, Mitt Romney?
Yeah. Now, is Haley Native American?
I don't know.
I'm going to Google that and find out.
She looks Indian a little bit.
I heard something.
She looks a little bit Indian.
Let's see if I can find that. That would be another first for America, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be. A female Indian. Let me see. Interior Secretary. Hispanic vote. Secretary of the Interior Ken Salazar is apparently politicking out in Los Angeles for the president. Specter on Santorum. Arlen Specter is just basically bashing old. And hey, remember, he was a Pennsylvania senator. He's apparently bashing Santorum as well. And, I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely no question in my mind that Rick Santorum has to, he can say one thing on the surface, but there's got to be some people close to him saying, you need to get out now before you lose Pennsylvania on April 27th and look like a goofball. I mean, that's just not going to look good. Now, here is some interesting political news. And maybe this explains why Newt Gingrich's campaign's $1.5 million in debt and he hasn't paid it off. Maybe Newt's not as rich as we thought. The healthcare think tank founded by Newt Gingrich is going under. The Gingrich Group, also called the Center for Health Transformation, filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection Wednesday in Atlanta federal court. The filing shows the group owes 50 to 99 creditors between $1 and $10 million. It reported assets of less than $100,000. Man, that is bad news for Newt. Now, if Newt was not running for president, that might be a back page story, but it's not. And you've heard Newt say that I know how to run a small business. And by the way, I'm sympathetic. Just because a business goes bankrupt does not mean that the individual who owned that business is a bad businessman or a bad businesswoman. A lot of times you do the best efforts and it doesn't work out. A lot of times there are situations that are out of your control that occur. But regardless, it doesn't help that your think tank goes bankrupt in the middle of your presidency. That's a bad image. Do you agree, TC?
Definitely. They weren't thinking about the finances.
Assets of less than $100,000 and creditors owing between $1 and $10 million. Ouch.
Wow.
And here's what you basically do, too. You just made 50 to 99 people madder than hell.
Okay.
Filing bankruptcy. They're like, I didn't get my money.
Right.
Newt, can Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich just drop out of the race? And you have to start wondering about them. They claim that all they want to do is beat Barack Obama. Yeah, I don't know about that. And here's another funny thing about Santorum. He says that the vote is closer than people think. Romney has 655 delegates. Santorum has 278. And Santorum is saying, it's closer than you think.
Well, it is closer. I only thought he had 260.
You funny guy. Coming up April 24th, I misspoke, said 27th. Connecticut, Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. That's a Romney sweep.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a Romney sweep. See ya. But you know what? We still got a chance to win this. It's halftime. Well, I can tell you right now, if he starts out the second half of the political season, losing Connecticut, Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island, not good. On economic news, you know what, folks? It's getting better out there. Just ask anybody who works for J.C. Penney as they lay off 600 workers.
No.
J.C. Penney laying off 600 workers.
Why? I thought we were spending. There's a report that says we're spending more in February.
A new GOP report that says under the Obama budget by 2019, only 7 years away, the United States will be paying more in interest on the national debt than the total defense of the country. Oh, my God, TC, this is killing me, TC. When are we going to wake up?
Ron Paul.
More in interest than the defense budget. Good golly. Ladies and gentlemen, the economy is not improving. Tyco executives denied parole. This guy was a piece of work. Dennis Kozlowski was denied parole. The fallen CEO was sentenced to 8 to 25 years in prison in 2005. You know, this guy had the most elaborate birthday party for his wife. It's like, I mean, yucky stuff, man. How do you do that?
What, real
And
savvy?
he was using Tyco money. It wasn't his money. It was Tyco money.
Oh, another one of those guys, huh?
One of those guys. The main part of the bill will phase in the Securities and Exchange Commission regulations. This is the Small Business Legislation, or Jobs Act now, over a 5-year period to let smaller companies go public sooner. This is huge, folks. When I take Bulldog's Max public, this will make it more easier for me to do that, TC.
That jobs bill's working for you, huh?
TC, do you have any businesses that you would like to, quote-unquote, take public?
No. Other than Green Water, which that'll happen maybe at some point.
Yeah, we're going to need to take Green Water public. I mean, you know, once we are proven a success in the private business, we definitely need to think about Green Water taking on Cheryl. How cool would it be? Now, you know, we got to decide upon who's going to do it. Do we choose Goldman Sachs? I say we choose Goldman Sachs because they got all the insiders.
Yeah, they do, but I don't know. Those guys don't really care about their clients.
That's a good point. Maybe J.P. Morgan then.
Yeah, well, see.
But anyway, we're going to have, you know what, they'll probably come out of the woodwork wanting to take, you know, handle our IPO.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, though, to see what big institutional investors will take a part of Green Water. Like, what if Warren Buffett's?
Yeah.
You know, what if Berkshire Hathaway says, let's get some of that Green Water?
Then if we get Warren Buffett, then forget about this Obama stuff, man.
Absolutely. We got Buffett. We don't need anybody.
When we jump into the 1%.
Hey. I got to start working on that prospectus. The board of directors. You know, you got to lay out all the details of the board of directors. We got to beef up our resumes, TC. We got to make up some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, can you think of some stuff like, you know, you ran some radio conglomerate?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did. It was the TCXRC secret project.
Nobody ever know it.
That's right. Well, because it was a big secret. That's right.
It's a big secret.
It was such a well-kept secret.
That brings up a funny thing. People that lie on their resume, it's kind of like, okay, you tell the truth about like 18 things. Why lie about like 19 and 20?
Oh, yeah, then I got my PhD.
Like, it's going to make a difference. And like, hello, in this day and age, they check out everything.
Well, you know, I put on my resume that I worked for the Secret Service. Then they say, we can't find any. I said, well, because it's a secret.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Central Intelligence Agency.
Exactly.
Secret Service. License to kill, but I can't talk about it, and there's no record.
That's right.
There's no record.
Like the Men in Black. I don't exist.
I always fantasize about certain things, TC, and one of them is it would be awesome to be a member of the Secret Service.
Really?
But you know what? I understand it's not like the James Bond. You know, apparently the James Bond films do not accurately depict what it's like to be a member of the Majesty's Secret Service or the CIA or anything. Really? Apparently, the James Bond movies are not an accurate depiction, TC. I was shocked to hear this. They're not an accurate depiction of what it's really like.
So I wonder, is it more mundane?
Yeah, apparently it's more mundane than what James Bond portrays.
Just talking into your lapel gets kind of old, I guess, after a while.
Can you imagine living the life of James Bond?
Yes.
Having all those gadgets.
Yes.
When we come back, more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you stick around for the Huckabee Report. That's coming up at 8:30 this morning on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. I did not report this yesterday because we had an opening day show down at Grader's Ice Cream. But by the way, Grader's was very nice to us. And, Grader's down on the Fountain Square, they not only have ice cream, they have donuts and candy and Easter baskets and frozen coffee and everything else. And it was a great time. Tom Dinkle stopped by. I want to thank Tom Dinkle for the tickets to opening day. And Tom did a great little segment with us. And, of course, he was a Kansas Jayhawk, but he's getting over it slowly. TC was great down there. We had somebody from South Carolina come in. We had lots of people that stopped by. We had a great time. And then, of course, the parade yesterday was great as well. We had the Bulldogs Nation truck. Here's the story. Robke, we got to give it up to Robke. Robke gave a red pickup truck that Wildman Walker was in, and Rob, the program director, drove. Now, I got to say, and Rick, the brick, was in the back. Now, Wildman rode in the front of the truck instead of in the back of the truck where people could see.
Yeah, we could be waving.
Wildman shirked his responsibility and should have gotten in the back of the truck. Chuck and I were in the back of our truck with whiskey. And by the way, whiskey was a hit.
Yeah?
I held whiskey in my lap, and all the ladies go, oh, and all the kids go, oh. Yeah. And then every once in a while you see some rabid Bulldog Nation member, it's a Bulldog, hey, Bulldog! They were our people.
Yeah.
The blue-collar folks out there were our people.
The blue-collar folks in red.
They were happy to see the Bulldog. But it was a great day. But we didn't get to mention this yesterday. And this is important because I've got a team, so to speak, that are helping put together the news for some of our websites. Terry Dushinsky, a good poll, who is going to be the editor of BulldogsMax.com. Check this out. He went down to the meeting in Avondale. He went himself.
Oh, okay, about the violence.
About the violence. And this is a report that he gave. He said Cincinnati Police Chief James Craig and other community leaders fielded 2-minute remarks from about 40 people the other night. 300 attended the 90-minute meeting at the Avondale Church. About a dozen who spoke, Terry reported, indicated a loss of a loved one in a shooting. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
A few were reformed drug dealers, and many provided information about community services or program. One said it's not black-on-black crime. They said it's genocide. Avondale is recoiling after that recent gunfire. There were 5 wounded Sunday night. A 4-year-old boy taking a bullet once. A young woman is now paralyzed after being shot exiting a store. And a young man was gunned down putting air in his tires at a gas station on Mitchell Avenue, March 27th. The 4-year-old boy, recovering from his wound, was carried to the podium amid thunderous applause in the arms of Victor Garcia, M.D., from Children's Hospital trauma surgeon. Now, that's something else, that a trauma surgeon from Children's Hospital took the time to go down there to help that 4-year-old boy. But they're basically members of the Citizens on Patrol groups. There's 6 neighboring communities that attended. Captain Elliot Isaac said there's not a former Citizens Patrol in Avondale currently, except for North Avondale. Chief Craig hopes that there's, they need informants. They need people to tell on these people. But it's a nightmare. I mean,
I don't know if this sounds too naive or not, but why don't we take that $94 million streetcar money and just put a cop on every block until we take care of the problem?
Well said, TC. What's more important?
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says, folks. The numero uno, the number one role in government is safety of its citizens.
Yeah.
The federal government's number one role is our defense and our safety from that perspective. Same with the state and same with the community. The number one goal of the city of Cincinnati should be the safety of its citizens, not some lost, crazy belief in a streetcar for economic development.
If he thinks that's going to attract tourists because, they've got the streetcar in Cincinnati now, people are also going to think, hey, had a lot of shootings in Cincinnati recently. That kind of publicity keeps people from coming here.
You know what, TC? That's a great point. They're promoting this streetcar as some panacea, this is going to solve everything. And at the same time, they have all these Avondale shootings.
Right.
And citizens patrol groups aren't the answer, folks. I mean, you don't need citizens patrol group to have vigilant citizens. Why do you need a citizen patrol? The citizens should just be vigilant and call 911 when they see stuff.
Exactly.
You don't need organized citizens groups.
Because now you've got these groups that are edgy because you've had a lot of violence. Pretty soon we're in Stanford, Florida, and there's a suspicious guy with a hoodie. I shot him or followed him or whatever. It's just not good.
TC, I'm going to do this for you too because you're the morning news guy around here, and I know you cover all the local stuff. Yeah. I'll hook Terry up with your email address, and when he goes out and covers something, he can shoot you an email with it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start covering some original stuff because I think it'll draw people to the website that we're doing. And also my newsletter. We're gonna put the things that he does in my newsletter, so my newsletter has some original sources. By the way, I want to thank Ropke Automotive for sponsoring my newsletter. John Bick is great. He spends money on this radio station, and he sponsors my newsletter, and he's a good guy. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, not just Greenwater. Greenwater gets probably more mentions than they should, but they spend a lot of money on this radio station. Right. Camera on Buses program is targeted in a lawsuit. A lawsuit has been filed against the Jefferson Parish Council in Louisiana over a program that calls for cameras to be installed on school buses. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I am a privacy rights person. However, some of these school buses, if they can't control and it becomes part of their safety and security team, what's it hurt to have a video on a school bus? Because if the kids are behaving, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And if they're misbehaving, you get them in black and white on that video camera.
What are they doing that should be kept private on a bus?
Isn't that incredible?
It is.
Now, you might be embarrassed if you picked your nose and got busted, I guess. That wouldn't be good. Oops, I picked my nose.
Yeah, we got it on tape. We saw you. Put it
got
on
it
YouTube.
on tape, man. You picked your nose.
Go to YouTube.com to see little Charlie picking his nose. Third seat from the back.
Hey, I can't believe that I forgot to not have this in sports. The UK-haters out there.
Are there any still?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay.
Guess who is ranked number 1 now in college baseball?
Not UK.
UK.
Seriously.
They're 27-2, and they're now ranked number 1. They're 7-2 in the Southeast Conference. Florida's 24 is ranked. And when you think baseball, you think Florida, Louisiana, LSU, but Kentucky is ranked second. Ranked first now.
Well,
I can't believe I forgot to mention that in sports.
Beat the Bearcats a few weeks ago. We had that game. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Bearcats. The Bearcats beat Louisville, though.
That's good.
They beat Louisville. You got to always beat Louisville. Let me see here. There's so much fun in here. Police kept money given to tip. A Minnesota waitress has filed a lawsuit against local police who have held money she was given as a waitress for 90 days without returning it. In her suit, the woman said a customer left a wad of cash in a takeout box on her table, and she turned it over to the police in case it belonged to someone. 90 days later, no one's claimed it. It's like $12,000. You know what?
She wants her money.
You know what? If I'm a waitress and somebody leaves $12,000 on a table, I'm going to keep it. Now, if somebody asks for it, I'll give it back to them. But I'm not going to give it to the police. Here, will you watch this for me? That was their first mistake.
$12,000? I didn't see any 12. Really? Somebody left $12,000 there?
We come back. More Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I'm telling you, I want to pull my hair out, although it's hard to pull my hair out because it's all shaved every day. But unemployment, they claims down to 8.2%, 120,000 jobs added in March. They changed the entire way They calculate unemployment. Well, if you're not looking for unemployment anymore, then you're not looking for employment anymore. We're taking you off the unemployment list. I mean, so it's incredible. So unemployment's really like 11%, 12%, 15%. No. We're going to make it 8%. And then to get it down under 8%, the Obama administration go, well, let me see. We're going to now remove this when we calculate the unemployment. Is there any independent watchdog review people that can get in the mainstream media that can address this? I guess not. Some more news to report, because I know you count on us to have some news as we go through this Friday. The Chevy Volt apparently will pay for itself in 27 years.
Really?
That's all, 27 years.
Well, I just have to keep the car for 27 years and I'm good.
Jesse Jackson. Now, who keeps a car for 27 years?
You may have to.
Good golly.
At this rate.
Jesse Jackson has called for blacks to wear hoodies in polling places when they go. I tell you right now, man, this hoodie thing, the Miami Heat people all wore their hoodie. Hoodie. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, now, see, I look at it two ways, okay? If it's in protest, I'm not sure about that. If you're doing it to honor a 17-year-old kid who was shot, different story.
Agree.
You see?
I agree. If you're going to honor is one thing, but come on, protest hoodies.
But now, speaking of Jesse Jackson, was he at the meeting the other night in Avondale?
No. Al Sharpton didn't deliver a message or fax in a message to be read. Neither did Jesse Jackson. No, they're not interested in Avondale. No.
Now, see, Jesse could come in and give the Dave Shula halftime speech. Come on, guys.
Now, I do want everybody to know. Now, this was funny, okay? I watch it all. I check it all out. And I watched Jon Stewart 2 nights ago, and this was hilarious. He had his... He made fun of him like his sometime black reporter. He's light-skinned, okay? It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I forget that guy's name.
They call him the senior black reporter, the senior black correspondent.
The senior black correspondent came on, okay? And they said, everybody's been complaining about that nobody is protesting black-on-black crimes. And they started rolling all the cities and the dates that have had some type of event to fight back and bring awareness to black-on-black crimes. Really? Apparently, there's a whole lot of these events that have taken place. I guess none of them's been in Cincinnati, so we don't know. Right. But apparently, there's plenty of protests about black-on-black crimes. It was kind of funny. It's kind of like, okay. I guess people shouldn't raise that issue anymore.
Where's your mainstream media now?
Yeah, where's your mainstream media? And it's kind of funny that Jon Stewart is recognized, it's not even close, as the number one trustworthy person in news. Did you know that?
Are you serious?
It's like 75%. He blows away everybody else as the person most trustworthy in getting your news. And he dissected, like a diagram, he dissected Rick Santorum's concession speech the other night, and it was hilarious. He talks about, we're at halftime. Jon Stewart makes those faces, right. And then it's just hilarious. And then he starts, and this is true, Santorum talked about George Washington crossing the Delaware, which was stupid because Newt's already used that. And the way he used George Washington crossing the Delaware had absolutely nothing to do with anything. Jon Stewart made one of those faces again. He stops it and looks at the camera. He's funny.
He is.
Stewart's funny, man.
Yeah, he is. Now, see, and he's, to me, if you not Comedy Central, but just his show is like the counterpart to say Bill O'Reilly,
right?
Okay, but they sneak by as it being a comedy show,
correct?
But they're making a lot of political commentary.
But and he's liberal. Yeah. He leans liberal, but he does make fun of everybody.
He does. He'll
make fun of Republicans maybe more, but he makes fun of everybody.
Yeah, one of the best shows on TV, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he's got his niche. Yeah. I've always said that. If I was given a 3-hour time slot on national show, I think one of the best angles to do radio would be on a national stage is Jon Stewart on radio. Yeah. You can do that stuff. And we do a lot of that stuff here. We make fun of them.
Pretty much, we do.
But I just, for example, Marion Barry. Here's a Jon Stewart comment for you. He says, I will bet you Jon Stewart attacks this one. Marion Barry says, we've got to do something about these Asians coming in.
So where's Marion Barry get?
Oh, Marion Barry.
So is there a heavy population of Asians coming into the D.C. area?
D.C. We got to do something about them. It's funny. Let's face it. It's funny to hear a black man, a black political leader, dogging the Asians.
Talking about another minority group.
That's funny. I'm sorry, folks. I think it's funny. It's terrible, but it's funny. Got to do something about them Asians. Come on, Marion Barry. You're a minority. You should be sympathetic to the Asians.
So what's his reason? I mean, why is he saying this about the Asians? What's his problem with Asians?
He actually used the word the dirty shops that they're opening up.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, someone opened a business. They've got a business going. Let them have a business.
Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Them Asians are coming. And by the way, with all due respect to the Asians, the stereotype is generally true. They're smart and hardworking.
Well,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
By the way, Marion Barry did a green water for us. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would love to hear the Marion Barry. John
What, you're supposed to drink it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Jon Stewart ain't got nothing on us. Also, we have to comment about this. And you know what? It's like the 911 calls. God, nothing's sacred, man. Everything's public. You make that 911 call, it's on the news. The mugshot, like Sarah and Cheryl Jones, they go to the news. I'm not kidding you. The news had their mugshots from the jail like 1 minute after they were up there. I mean, I'm like, holy cow, how'd they get them so quick? I mean, the embarrassing things that become public, that, it's public.
Yeah.
Another one is an autopsy. Whitney Houston, okay, she's dead. Apparently there's no foul play. Can we just let Whitney Houston rest in peace? No. They got to get the coroner report. The news gets the coroner's report, and they have to announce that, she didn't have hair, that this was a wig,
What?
Yeah, she had plugs or whatever, She apparently had breast augmentation. She had some other surgery scars. And I'm thinking, my God, let her rest in peace.
Yeah, we don't need to know all that.
If there is some kind of criminal investigation, have at it, but no, nothing. Let me see. 911 calls, mugshots, and autopsies. Oh, by the way, speaking of mugshots and being arrested, there's websites out there called Jail Tracker, and whatnot. So if you get arrested, your photo ends up on these sites, okay? And this is something that bothers me. Police officers, prosecutors, and judges on these small crimes, that end up getting dismissed or dropped, they always act like that's no big deal. In other words, maybe the police officer shouldn't have arrested that person. The prosecutor drops it. Yeah. Everybody acts like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm telling you, TC, it bothers the hell out of me for the following reasons. First of all, being arrested, handcuffed, put in the back of the cruiser, taken down to the jail, processed is a hell of a traumatic, scary event. Number two, if you're just charged with a crime and you're not processed like that and you're just served with the papers to show up in court, it's still a traumatic. And let me tell you something, TC. I'm used to it, but my clients who have never been in court before are scared to death of the littlest little court appearance like you pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
But here is the thing that troubles me. It's a new day, folks. It's not like the 60s, 70s, even the 80s. You get charged. Nobody knows. The neighbors don't know. You go down there, you get it resolved. No. Your mugshot is on the internet for eternity for everybody to see.
And they've
for
got
everybody to see.
They've got magazines now, publications. You can get them at the convenience store. There's one, Busted. It's just pictures.
I know. So just think how Cheryl Jones feels. She's a principal, 35 years, has no record.
Yeah.
There's her mugshot. I mean, so it is a bigger deal. But here's the problem: we have filed lawsuits over bad arrest, no probable cause, and I tell you right now, on the other side of the river, in the Eastern District, Kentucky, they don't want them. So we can't. I'm done filing them. Next time somebody calls me up and says, well, I got unfairly arrested and I got unfairly charged. I mean, it's clearly a bunch of it's like, sorry about your luck, man. You got to just take it because they don't want to even hear about it.
Now, with this principal, let's say she's acquitted of whatever she's accused of. Where does she go to get her reputation back?
She doesn't. She doesn't. And she will never be hired again. Right. I'm confident. I know that from the Nicole Howe case.
Right.
Nobody's ever going to hire Nicole. She was acquitted. Never going to get a job as a teacher. Sad.
Yeah.
And it's wrong. We come back. We'll wrap up this Good Friday show with Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
And your healthy radio addiction starts in less than 20 minutes with Laura Ingram from 9 to noon today on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Opening day was a great holiday for Cincinnati. And, of course, they're off today, and then they're back playing their first night game on Saturday. I want to congratulate Cy Lease. It wasn't over the plate, but it was a lot better than the Mares.
Was it close?
It was close.
Okay.
I would like to end the show by wishing everybody a wonderful, wonderful Easter weekend. You know, I often say that in life, as we travel through this thing called life, that life's filled with challenges for you, filled with challenges for me. In fact, it was funny. Yesterday in the parade, along with Chuck and I, a couple of my clients from the St. Bernard case had their son and his buddy there going to the game, and they said, I invited them to ride in the parade with us in the back of the truck, and they did. And one of them said, man, I got people ask me, what are you like? And I tell them what you're like, and they're like shocked, that you're normal. I said, well, I am normal. I got all the same challenges in life as you do. Heck, I might be thrown in jail by a judge in Portsmouth today. You never know. But anyway, the bottom line is that, one of the things that make life doable, isn't it? And what gets us through life is those nice pauses we have. Let's think about all the good Lord, the way he has structured life in America. He gives us these pauses, these breaks, that in the middle of all of our challenges, he gives us some little cheer. For example, birthdays. It's kind of nice. Hey, here's a birthday. Opening day is another one. Weddings is another time where everybody kind of puts together all their woes for a night to celebrate a wedding. Now, it doesn't mean you don't wake up the next day and you got to deal with all your issues, but at least there's a break from it all. Vacations, aren't they a break? And another break are holidays. My favorite holiday, of course, is Thanksgiving because it's a 4-day weekend. You have food, family, friends, football, no presents.
And your annual turkey shoot.
That's right. And my annual turkey shoot. I also love Memorial Day, 4th of July, holidays that give you that extra day. Labor Day, I like those 3- and 4-day weekends. And, of course, Christmas. Christmas was terrible this year, wasn't it? Because Christmas and Christmas Eve fell on the weekends. I like it when it falls on Wednesday because that basically gives you 2 weeks because of New Year's.
Right.
2 weeks wherever nobody does anything. But the bottom line is that this is a weekend which is a very special weekend. It's both a holy and secular holiday because today is Good Friday, where Christians celebrate the death of Christ, and of course Easter, which is the resurrection of Christ. He gave his life for our sins, and his resurrection gives us all hope for everlasting life. So it's a wonderful, wonderful spiritual day. And as a lot of people of the Catholic and Christian faith will argue that it's more important than even Christmas, which is the birth of Jesus, because of the meaning of the resurrection on Sunday. And on the other hand, it's the secular holiday. The Easter Bunny's going to come and deliver egg baskets to all the little kids. We have Easter egg hunts. Families come together and eat that ham. And by the way, that's another interesting question. My family, we're going to have 5 o'clock on Sunday. Everybody's coming over to my house to have ham. I got to ask you this question, TC. Isn't it interesting that Easter is a ham holiday?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Thanksgiving is the turkey. Now, some people eat ham, but is the turkey holiday. Easter is the ham holiday. Isn't that interesting?
You're right. It is.
You can't eat turkey on Easter. You got to eat ham. And you can't eat ham or duck. Some people who eats duck. You got to have turkey on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, turkey on Thanksgiving, and now a lot of people do turkey and ham because of the pork thing.
Right.
So,
well, we're going to have a ham, and you know what? I prefer turkey to ham, but I tell you right now, a sweet, well-cooked ham that melts in your mouth is just fine with me with mashed potatoes and corn. I'm a simple man.
Mm-hmm.
Mashed potatoes and corn. What do you like with your ham?
Honey-baked ham with macaroni and cheese with everything. That's a side.
I like macaroni and cheese.
And believe it or not, I'm a broccoli fan.
You like broccoli?
I love broccoli. That's the only vegetable
No wonder
I
you're
would
so
eat.
skinny and healthy, TC.
I like broccoli. Broccoli is good stuff.
I wish I liked broccoli, and I wish I liked all those asparagus, broccoli, spinach. You like spinach?
Yeah, I like spinach. Okay.
You know, I
That'd be the mood for it.
always say that people that can eat anything eat spinach, broccoli, turtle soup, sauerkraut. See, I'm a German heritage. I'll eat a bratwurst. You can keep your sauerkraut.
I'll eat sauerkraut, maybe a couple of spoonfuls, or on New Year's Day.
And then liver. Now, Easter candy, TC, this is a very important question. What is your preference of Easter candy? My favorite is just give me chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. I don't mind marshmallow and chocolate, and I love my orange jelly beans.
The orange ones?
Orange ones.
I take chocolate, no doubt. Chocolate anytime, but I think it's Smucker's.
Smucker's?
That makes jelly beans.
They make great jelly beans.
Oh, they're so good. And then there are these other little candies that come in I think there might be a Christmas candy though, but it's like in a red and green little wrapper.
Right.
You know, and it's hard candy, but then it's got a soft inside. It's really like a strawberry. I like those.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I also like opera cream eggs.
Oh, do you really?
Opera cream eggs. I like opera cream. But Easter candy is fun, and we're going to have Easter baskets. And I got to come up. This thing I got, let me see. We added a family member because I have Chad, and, of course, there's Riley. So I'm going to have to come up with like 9 or 10 places to hide Easter baskets with poems. Maybe I'll share some of those on the radio, the best ones. I'm pretty good at them. And you know what? It's kind of you gotta hide it to where it's not too bad. You gotta hide it where the dog's not gonna get it.
Right.
The refrigerator in the garage has been a pretty good place. I've actually used people's cars, too. That's kind of cool. You mess over their cars.
Ah, okay.
You know what would be really neat this year is if I hide the Easter baskets in the neighbors' houses. In other words, instead of our house, I'll hide the Easter. Hey, man, can I hide my Parker's Easter basket in your house? That would be fun, wouldn't it? All my kids going up the street looking, whose house has got my Easter basket?
That'd be great. That'd take all day.
Take it an event.
Yeah,
and
really.
And I personally like the community Easter. See, I eat from the community basket. I make one for myself, and it's like, I ain't hiding this thing anywhere.
Right.
God, it's tough to start a diet right about. You got opening day food, and you got Easter food.
Start on Monday.
Yeah. I got to start losing weight.
Hey, by the way, on Monday,
Yes.
there's a good chance that Mike Huckabee could be calling us.
That's awesome. I'd
Yeah.
love to interview Mike Huckabee.
Yeah.
Good guy. And TC, do you have your show on Sunday? And who do you have on for Sunday?
Actually, that show's been replaced.
It has been.
It has been replaced. They put something else in there, but
But it's Easter. It's Easter anyway, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't have. Well, I'm sorry I brought it up then.
oh no, it's not a bad thing. Matter of fact, there's a whole bunch of people that we talked to that we're gonna kind of work in, maybe get them on in the morning. Get them more exposure sometime.
If you ever have somebody that you want to have on TC, by the power vested in you as my producer, I will be happy to accommodate and have them on here on our wonderful show. And then we'll evaluate him. We'll say, is that a Tigger, a Winnie, a Rabbit, or an ER? ER. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous. I think you'd like to have, and I think he'd be a great guest. Arnold Simpson.
I like Arnold Simpson.
Yeah.
Do you know that I introduced him at a Martin Luther King event several years ago where he was the keynote speaker? I got to introduce Arnold Simpson.
Did you really?
Yes,
Really?
I did.
So you like him, huh?
I like Arnold. Arnold's a good guy.
That guy's the key to jobs in Northern Kentucky.
I'm actually kind of jealous of Arnold Simpson from a lawyer standpoint. He's more of a legislator than a lawyer, it seems to me, because he focuses on his legislation work. But he's like the Chris Neville's is now an African-American lawyer in Northern Kentucky. But Arnold Simpson has been forever the only black lawyer in Northern Kentucky, and I always thought to myself, man, I'd play that card if I was him.
Now, see,
I'd be going into those black communities and saying, hey, hire me,
You know something? I had no idea until just now.
Yeah.
I've never seen this picture. I've just seen articles and
Yes, he is. And Chris Neville's is now too. But Arnold's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, and he always smiles. He's a happy guy.
He gets a lot of support from the Northern Kentucky Chamber, too.
Everybody likes Arnold. I'll be honest with you. I don't know anybody dislikes Arnold Simpson. And he's a Democrat. Sometimes he might vote liberal. And I think even the conservatives still like Arnold Simpson. It's hard not to like. I'd love to have Arnold on.
Let's see if we can get him on then.
All right, this is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Congratulations to the Reds. Congratulations to the Castellini family and their win. And also, happy Easter. Happy Good Friday, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. I'll be back on Monday on Real Talk 1160.